back there. Just a little bit of housekeeping note to start off. If you did park in our parking garage, we have passes for you to park for free for this event. So Val, go ahead and wave your hands. Just see Valerie in case you need a parking pass if she hasn't already talked to you yet. All right. So good to see so many of you here this morning. Really appreciate you taking the time to come out for a very special air service announcement. We have some special guests that are going to come up here and speak. And I was trying to look to see if we have any elected leaders in the audience. We've got a couple here. We really appreciate you taking the time and being able to come in. I know it's a little bit of last minute notice, but that's how some of these things work. They're pretty fluid in our industry. And we're excited to get started. So let me start with just a quick bio. I have here written down for someone who probably doesn't need any introduction here. He's been a great advocate and partner for aviation, for the airport, for Wichita, for the state of Kansas, bringing folks in, talking business, talking the importance of establishing great routes for the business, economic development. And it is with my great pleasure to do a very short introduction for the United States Senator from the great state of Kansas, Jerry Moran.
Thank you very much. It was nice to see Jesse's smile, suggesting that maybe something good is going to be announced. And it was nice to have him be brief because I have free parking for 60 minutes only. So I'm going to try to live up to that and save a little money this morning. So you all know we have community leaders here who have been hugely engaged in growing this community, making it a better place to live, attracting other businesses, showcasing Wichita and South Central Kansas to a wide array of businesses who find Wichita, we hope find Wichita, to be a great opportunity to do business in. And so we are delighted for all the progress and improvements that have been made in South Central Kansas now for a long period of time. I have also been an advocate. I'm on the Commerce Committee that has jurisdiction over airlines. I'm the lead Republican, the vice chairman of the Aviation Subcommittee. I'm a new member of the Transportation Appropriations Subcommittee, trying to put myself in a position in which I can be helpful in other ways to Kansas. A few weeks ago, American Airlines announced additional service, new service, directly from Wichita to Phoenix. That's a great development. And yesterday, yes, that is a great development. And yesterday, American announced a new seasonal flight from Wichita to Miami. And today, I have the pleasure of announcing one more flight provided by American Airlines. A daily flight from Wichita's Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport to Washington Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. Beginning on January the 8th. And incidentally, I instructed my secretary to purchase the first ticket. It goes online on Saturday, tomorrow. Beginning January the 8th, American Airlines will operate a daily flight departing DCA at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time and arriving at Wichita at 1:45 p.m. The flight will depart Wichita at 3:30 in the afternoon and be back in DCA at 7:15 Eastern Time. I've already, in a side conversation, indicated to American Airlines that Ron Estes and I are going to be lobbying for slightly different times that allow us to make votes. And so I don't want to take the joy away from anything, but I have this one little issue that I hope is not terribly personal, but we'll be working to see if we can adjust that. We look forward, and I appreciate Congressman Estes and I talked about this last night. I appreciate Debbie being here. Senator Marshall's staff might be here. Right there, I hadn't shaken your hand. We are delighted as a congressional delegation that represents South Central Kansas to be a part of bringing American Airlines not to Wichita, but to Wichita and Washington, D.C. in one flight. These new flights represent both the local growth in Wichita but also the attention that South Central Kansas is receiving from national and international businesses, the military, and federal agencies. As the air capital of the world, Wichita is home to a number of critical aerospace and defense contractors who supply aircraft and tools to our federal government. As manufacturing companies in Wichita continue to secure additional federal work, I've seen it as a vital need of connecting the air capital of the world with the capital of the United States of America. This route amplifies our competitiveness as a city and a state. The daily flight is rapidly becoming a necessity to allow federal officials and business leaders to make their way to Wichita, and for them and for us to make our way to the nation's capital. We've had a lot of visitors to Wichita to see our manufacturing capabilities, our educational opportunities, Wichita State NIAR, Wichita Tech, the community colleges and other colleges. And in every effort that we've made to bring people to Wichita, the ability to get here with ease was always a complication. I remember Secretary Raimondo, who visited Wichita, I don't know, 6 months ago or less, to talk about manufacturing, to talk about chips. But she originally insisted that she visit Kansas City because it was where she could have a direct flight. It took a lot of arm twisting and insistence, and I can tell you that as she was departing, at least 3 times told me she was so glad that I convinced her to come to Wichita to see what she saw. We're going to reduce the barriers. American Airlines is going to reduce the barriers of getting important guests here so we can showcase what we have and offer it to more. I thank Jesse Romo, who I've known a long time. He was the airport manager in Manhattan, which I have flown out of many times, and now in Wichita. And he has done great things with the airport authority and local officials here to make the Dwight D. Eisenhower Airport such a fantastic place. And I want to thank Nate Gatton, who I just met this morning. Nate is the Executive Vice President of American Airlines, who joins us today. And we are grateful to American Airlines, and we will do our part to make sure that American understands that they made a good decision and they would want to continue to grow service from Wichita to other places in our country. In fact, we just talked about one this morning. While these flights are welcome news for Kansans, I have no doubt that we'll do our best. And perhaps while I've talked about the economic opportunities that this flight helps create, just to the people of Kansas who now have an additional opportunity to fly from Wichita to destinations across the country and around the globe. Congratulations to Wichita, to South Central Kansas, to the airport for another great development that only happens because we have people in Kansas and here in this part of Kansas who've decided we're going to make life better for the people who live here and for the people we want to live here, and that often includes our kids and grandkids. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Senator. We really appreciate the remarks and all of your assistance in helping us attract such great service from American Airlines. And we have one more speaker here, Mr. Gatton. Nate Gatton is an Executive Vice President at American Airlines. He leads the airline's airport affairs, corporate real estate, corporate security, ESG, and government affairs teams. As a member of the airline senior leadership team, he works closely with his colleagues to define the company's strategic priorities and direct the development and execution of the efforts to advance Americans' interests worldwide. Nate joined American in 2017 as Senior Vice President of Global Government Affairs and has been in his current role since 2022. And it is our pleasure to welcome Nate up to the microphone.
Totally fine. Well, thank you, Jesse, and thank you, Senator Moran. Good morning to everyone. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here today. And on behalf of my colleagues from American Airlines, and let me recognize in the back our General Manager, Kevin Hall, and his team. They do the work here, and it's because of them that we're able to make this announcement. But it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here with Senator Moran. I think you know him well. You get a flavor for his knowledge of the aviation industry, his ability to champion the aviation industry, not only as the vice chairman of the aviation subcommittee, but also in his role on transportation approach. All of us at American recognize his passion for this business, and hope that those of you from Kansas can appreciate just how much of a leader he is and how instrumental he is on these issues in Washington. You're really fortunate to have him.
Thank you very much.
So I'll be brief. As you've just heard, the air capital of the world will soon enjoy daily nonstop service to Washington Reagan Airport. And this follows the announcement of our weekly seasonal service to Miami. And that's on the heels of our announcement about adding service to Phoenix as well. American is ICT's fastest growing carrier. We've grown here by 20% year over year. And we're proud of the partnership and the commitment that we've made here. These new routes, as the Senator mentioned, will provide Kansans even greater access to our expansive global network. So by early next year, you will have service from 5 of our hubs, Dallas-Fort Worth, Chicago O'Hare, Phoenix Sky Harbor, and now Miami and DCA. As the top manufacturing metropolitan area in the United States, we're excited to be a part of the continued growth and success here, and we know that these new routes will be a key contributor to helping to unlock the potential of this area. Finally, in closing, I would just say that it's, as the Senator mentioned, it's difficult to overstate the importance of air service in connecting communities like Wichita to the rest of the country, and indeed to the world. This will help attract business. It'll help your local leaders as they work to create economic opportunities, and it will strengthen your community. So whether it's to Washington, D.C. or Miami or anywhere else that we fly, we look forward to welcoming you on board soon, providing you with excellent service, and thanks again for allowing me to be here today.
We can't thank American enough for all these additions to our market. This is fantastic news. You know, folks often ask me, how do you get new air service? It's by using the air service. It's with great partnerships. And we have some great friends over here that are with us today in helping get all this done. So really appreciate that. I just want to add a couple of quick notes that current service from American Airlines here, which began in 1982, we got 7 daily flights to DFW, 3 to Chicago. We're upgauging to E-170 aircraft this fall with 65 seats. We've got the daily flights to Phoenix that are starting in November. We got seasonal flights to Miami starting in November, going through March. Think about Christmas and spring break vacation plans. And now we have DCA, which is a tremendous market to get into, very difficult. And so we appreciate all the efforts to make this happen. We thank you all for being here. And before I close, I would just open up for any questions that you may have.
How are these cities selected specifically?
I think the question was, how are these cities selected specifically? And so if you're asking from the airport and community perspective, it's where we travel most to. And so we go about and looking, pulling data to see where are people flying from our market area, which airports are they going to, where are they going, taking connections, can we get nonstop service to there? DC was one of those largest unserved direct markets that we needed. We have a lot of business and a lot of opportunity for the DC market. We do have additional target markets that are out there that we also want to expand. So I think right now, if you include seasonal service, we're about 7 to 9 hubs that we serve across the lower 48, and I think there's 21. So there's still quite a bit of work left to do, but we're happy to celebrate this today.
Jesse, just speak a little bit. We've had all these announcements. Miami yesterday, Phoenix a couple days ago, just for American. You've had an announcement from other airlines. How much does it show the airport is, starting to really thrive after the pandemic, that air travel is back? How does this kind of speak that continued recovery and getting growth beyond that?
Yeah, so the question was about recovery. We've been seeing great trends post-pandemic, and so this past May was the second best May ever that we've had. And so we are getting very close to the pre-COVID numbers, which were record numbers that we had in 19. And so it's good to see people traveling again. We're seeing return of business travelers. We're seeing a lot of leisure travelers. And so it's nice to see so many folks getting out there and going through Eisenhower National Airport.
I had a question for the senator when you back up there. You mentioned it when Secretary Armando was in here, but just talk about how much easier is it for you, for Representative Exodus, for Senator Marshall, if you want to bring people to here to Wichita, to South Central Kansas, on recruiting visits, on just to show them the area, how much easier is it to hop on a direct flight than to have to go through Kansas City or go through somewhere else?
I'd share this question with the Greater Wichita Partnership if they want to engage in this topic, but I have no doubt from my experience that trying to find a date for the Secretary of the Army, the Secretary of the Air Force, the Secretary of Commerce, to find a date that works in schedules is complicated, and it's complicated if it takes a burden to get here. And if we can reduce the amount of travel time it takes, it's just much easier for people to say yes more quickly. So it is a significant improvement, I think, in our ability to showcase, once again, Kansas to businesses across the country and around the globe, including in the announcement yesterday about an Australian company choosing Wichita as its new manufacturing headquarters for drones. These are the kinds of things that we can better accomplish. But I want to say that I know this is of value to others who are already here. I know enough of people who come to Washington, D.C. to bend my ear, to kind of poke me in the chest and tell me what's on their mind. And this is not only a benefit for the growth of Wichita, it's a benefit to companies who are already here and reduces the chances that anybody thinks about leaving Wichita. So it's a significant development in my view. I gave you a chance to talk. All right. Mr. President, anything you want to say? One of the successes we've had that President Muma is pointing out is the location of significant laboratory and technology for the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Federal Agency. I mean, they are headquartered in Washington, D.C. Our ability to attract that kind of federal presence is enhanced and important to the ones that we've already achieved here. I've told people from when we've been recruiting that my number one goal in air service is to get nonstop service to and from Washington, D.C. I've noticed it's an applause line when I say it in Wichita, so we decided we better get it done.
What are some goals you have for the future with air travel in Wichita and Kansas?
Well, the FAA reauthorization bill is pending in front of the Senate right now. We're trying to do everything we can to enhance the opportunities for all airlines to have greater access to pilots. Our regional airports in Kansas have their challenges when airlines have fewer pilots available. And so all across Kansas, we're working to try to make certain that there are more pilots being able to be hired by more airlines to provide more service everywhere in our state. And that bill has been in front of the Commerce Committee, was postponed, and perhaps even this week that issue will be front and center for me and for us. So it's a broad effort, but I also would say, without naming any cities, conversations with people in the room this morning and with American Airlines over the last several months, and with Jesse and the Airport Authority, other cities are in our bullseye to see if we can attract. I think this was said mostly by Jesse, but the importance is that if we bring air service to Wichita, we need citizens of Kansas to use air service in Wichita. No airline is going to do, just out of the goodness of their heart, provide service to a community. It has to be profitable. I encourage you all to come see me in the nation's capital. Thank you. Well, some of you.
Thank you again, Senator. Thank you all for coming. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one person there, Valerie Wise. Go ahead and wave to the crowd. Valerie works on our air service development. She is relentless in her efforts, and that's what you need. You need the perseverance to meet opportunity, to get lucky like we did today. So she's available for questions. I'll be available for questions. We appreciate you all attending today. So thank you very much.